You ever walk into your home after dark and wonder, was she really working late again? The silence hits. Then she drops it. If you don't trust me working late every night with my boss, maybe we shouldn't be together. Boom. That one sentence changes everything. Trust hangs by a thread. You feel shock, confusion, anger. Do you believe her? Do you doubt her? And more than that, what does this really mean for your relationship? Tonight, I'll take you from that moment, raw, intense, to where understanding, boundaries, and trust either break or rebuild. We'll go from basic emotions to advanced choices. By the end, you'll know what to do if you're ever on that edge of faith and fear. Let's begin. When she says that line, your world spins. First comes the punch, hurt. Did I do something wrong? You replay every late night, every phone call, every "I'm just finishing up." You question your reading. Is this jealousy, insecurity, or legitimate doubt? Then comes anger. How could she say that? Doesn't she trust me? Followed by guilt. Maybe I've been distant. Maybe I've ignored signs. And fear. Are we really at a breaking point? All these feelings mix into chaos. In basic terms, the emotional storm has three parts: hurt, anger, self-doubt. Everyone feels them, but feeling them isn't the end. What matters is what you do next. Do you retreat? Do you lash out? Or do you try to understand? Behind that line, there's more than just trust issues. She could be saying she feels judged, or she feels you assume betrayal. Maybe she's frustrated that your doubts overshadow her efforts. Maybe this has been building up. She might be defending herself, or she might be testing whether you believe in her beyond your fears. Sometimes it's not about her boss or the late nights. It's about respect, about whether you treat her as loyal unless proven otherwise. So listen very closely. What she says is, if you don't trust me, but what she demands is faith, space, respect. Understanding that layer changes everything. When the dust settles, what do you say to yourself? You might tell stories in your mind. Late nights mean hiding something. Or if she cared, she'd see how this looks. You might compare to past betrayals, yours or others. The inside voice might spiral. Do I believe in her? Can I believe in myself? This internal monologue shapes your reaction more than anything. If you feed fear and suspicion, you'll act defensive. If you feed insecurity, you'll withdraw. If you feed understanding, you'll listen. The basic skill here is noticing what you tell yourself. Awareness of your internal dialogue gives you power to choose how to respond, rather than simply reacting. You need a conversation, not a fight, not accusations, just honest talk. First, set a time when neither of you is exhausted or upset. Then use I statements. I feel, rather than you always. Say what worries you, not what you assume. For example, I feel anxious when I don't know your schedule, rather than you're always lying. Then listen, really listen to her version, her feelings, her perspective. Maybe she's under pressure at work. Maybe late nights are expected in her job. Maybe she's unaware how it affects you. When both sides speak without blaming, the walls begin to come down. That's the basic structure. Set safe time, express your feelings, listen. That's how you begin to heal trust. Trust isn't built in a day. It's built when you both share expectations and boundaries. What constitutes late nights for her? How often? Is communication part of the deal? Like checking in by message or letting you know when deadlines change? Boundaries might include transparency about work situations. Trust means believing in her, yes, but trust also needs clarity. Maybe you both agree on a routine. Maybe you both agree on check-ins. Also, trust involves consistency. Actions match words. If she repeatedly stays late without explanation, even if it's legitimate, it breeds doubt. But if she is open, shares, reassures, and you choose to believe, trust strengthens. That's the middle ground between blind faith and suspicion. There's a line where doubt, when expressed wrongly, becomes hurtful. If you consistently accuse without proof, demand every detail, snoop, bring up past mistakes, you shift into accusation. Sometimes what feels like concern becomes control. or becomes gaslighting, telling her she's being unreasonable when she's not. That kills trust too. On the other hand, if she refuses all transparency or brushes off your feelings, that can be dismissive. So both sides have responsibility. You must guard against assuming the worst, and she should guard against shutting down or minimizing your feelings. Healthy relationships have room for doubts, but also space for mutual respect. You messed up? So did she? Both of you have scars. Repair begins when one side admits mistake. When you say, "I see how much this upset you, I'm sorry." And when she says, "I understand why you feel this way. I can tell you more about what's happening at work." Then comes proving through action, not just words. If you commit to change, keep your promises. Keep communicating. Build small wins. Answering a text, calling when you're late, being transparent with schedule, but also trusting her to do her job. Rebuilding isn't fast. It's gradual. But every small act that aligns with what you say reinforces trust. And over time, belief replaces suspicion. Sometimes, no matter how much you try, things don't improve. Maybe suspicion becomes constant. She grows defensive. Communication breaks down. Or maybe she refuses to discuss it or always turns it back on you. Maybe trust isn't honored. These are red flags. If your concerns are always dismissed, or if every late shift becomes a secret cause for attack rather than conversation, that's toxic. If you find yourself always anxious, always checking, always justifying, your heart will tire. In this part, you need to ask, is this relationship safe? Is love being used as a weapon? Sometimes, to protect your soul, you must make hard choices, even stepping away if trust can't be rebuilt. If you both choose to stay, do it with full commitment. Build trust like planting a tree. Water it daily, give it light, shield from storms. Practice honesty. Practice forgiveness. Practice patience. Celebrate the time she does reach out, tells you where she is, shows up on time. Celebrate when you trust without proof, and she doesn't disappoint. Stay open about your fears, but don't let them rule you. Be partners. Support her in her job, and let her support you in being vulnerable. Make sure both feel safe speaking truth. In doing this, the late nights might still come. They might always come, but they won't carry the same weight. Trust becomes the foundation. And someday you both look at each other and say, "Yes, I believe you. Yes, we survived this." And in that survival, you reach a stronger love than before.